You're on the YouTube channel.
Oh.
You never watched the YouTube channel before?
I haven't.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. It's got 84,000 subscribers.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I should subscribe.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button.
I will.
Like now.
I will.
Okay. So, we'll see if this thing will start. Yeah, it wants to.
Echo water.
Okay.
Is that good?
Of course it will, right?
Yeah, of course it starts now.
So I take Z-Quil.
It definitely wouldn't this morning.
Yeah. Well, judging by what that address read, I doubt it would want to start because it's showing the handle is in reverse. I just wonder what it says now.
Yep.
Go to the menu,
Isolation there on the corner.
system, diagnostic center,
Yep,
controllers, AIC.
Yes, please. I'll do it.
We're going to go to address 10. So right now, it's supposed to read 010
Put that on him, please.
because the first digit's forward. If you go in the forward slot, it should read a 1 there. When you go to the neutral slot, you should just have a 1 in the middle, and then reverse. See, that reverse works right, but neutral and forward. Oh, now forward reads right. See, that's what it's supposed to read, 100. And now it reads 111. I wonder if it doesn't start now. Doesn't start now. So that makes sense.
I say I wasn't crazy, I don't think.
No. What were you jamming out to?
I haven't even had it on.
All right, so we're gonna change the sensor assembly that this Hydra handle goes to. All right, so we're gonna take this top off. To get the top off, you gotta take this off. There's 2 T25 screws, and then you've got a screw there going up in it, and then there's one in the corner here, and the one right over in here. Take those 4 screws out, and then this whole thing will come up. All right, so once you get the 4 screws out, you can see where they were, 1, 2, and then there was 3, 4 back here. You can pull that up. I normally unplug this little connector that goes in down here to give me some more room. And then this is just 3 screws, 2 over here, 1 right here, and then you've got this connector right here, and then there's 2 screws going into the handle. So just got to take all those screws out. All right, once you get all those screws out, then you can just slide it out of the handle. Come on. There. That's what it looks like right there. Now I just put a new one in. Just like that. Now I'll put that top back down, get the screws all in, and reconnect this connector here, and then I'll show you how to calibrate it. Okay, now we're going to go to menu, system, nope, I lied, machine settings, calibration procedures. We're going to press and hold on harvest till T shows up. Like that, and then we're going to scroll down to ProDrive Hydro Handle Calibration. And calibrate. Start. Move handle fully forward. Hit next. Fully reverse. Hit next. Neutral. Hit next. Save. Done. There's neutral. There's forward. There's reverse. It's working. Now it'll start. Ta-da! Well, they're fueling up the combine right now. I got the ground off the main engine gear case, and you can see there's glue on the eyelets. So, and it wasn't very tight either. So I'm going to get those cleaned up and get that back on tight. Okay, well, it's next morning because I tried to show you guys what I was doing with the grounds, but my phone ended up dying and overheating. So I did a bunch of stuff, cleaned all the grounds on the machine, the grounds on the right-hand main, the left-hand main, and then the grounds on the Meg. Got those all cleaned up. Then I was messing with the key switch, and I could get it to act up with messing with the key switch. So I think we have two problems on this machine. I think we got a bad key switch, and then of course the hydro handle not showing the neutral position wasn't helping the matters any. So this morning got a key switch, and I'm going to try that real quick and see what happens. I did get it to act up and have the customer hold the key switch in the start position, and I went back to the engine and put my multimeter on the exciter wire on the starter, which tells the starter, hey, we need to crank the engine, and I had no voltage there at all. So, but I could wiggle this key switch, and I can make the corner post lights go on and off by just wiggling it. So we're going to throw this in and just see what happens. Okay, so of course I jump in it this morning and it starts every time. The problem is really intermittent, and trying to figure out an intermittent no crank problem on this machine when there's so much electronics involved, sometimes it can be really difficult to figure it out, because if it works, it's hard to find the problem. So I went ahead, 3 Torx screws, T20, takes that steering column apart, you pull this off, that's where the key switch is. You take this one nut off, and then you put the switch in, and then of course it hooks back in to that connector right there. So I'm going to get this all together. Okay, see what it does this morning. Fires right up. All right, well, I literally started that combine 20 times with no failure, so fingers crossed it's going to be good. I hate intermittent no crank problems. Sometimes it can be hard to figure it out, especially when you're by yourself and you can't be at 2 places at once to be checking voltage on a starter while hitting the key switch and yada yada, things like that. So on the road, harvest service calls, gotta love it. Got a S670. It's got some transmission codes, so we're going to head to that first thing this morning. Then after that, I believe we're going to be going to look at a X9 combine that is throwing some low fuel pressure codes. So I'm not sure what we're going to get into there, but let's head on to the first one. All right, there she is. Let's go see what's wrong with you, darling. Okay. Let's see what codes you got in you. Transmission 2 range automatic problem. Transmission oil temperature voltage problem. Okay, well, the first thing you do is perform a visual inspection of the wiring in the sensor, and this cover was on there like this, but this went through the hole right here, and I just pulled on a little bit, and well, looks like the mice have been at it again, boys. I took that cover off to see, what else have they chewed. Well, there's the wires for the temp sensor, and they chewed the wire off at the connector right there on the solenoid valve. I'm not sure which exactly this solenoid valve is, but yeah, she's got a wire chewed clean off. Okay, so I'm going to fix this connector first. We're going to pry this little terminal lock out. Boop. Just like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this terminal out. So if you look inside here, there's a little release. Pry it up and just pull it out like that. Just got to remember, purple is in number 2. Is that 2? So this gets kind of tricky when you ain't got much to pull on. There we go. Okay, so if I were to put just a terminal on this, see, they wouldn't be the same length, and then it would make the wires bunch up kind of weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to snip it off right here, and then we're going to put 2 repair wire assemblies that's got a wire with a terminal already on it, and we're going to butt splice them in right there so they're both equal length. Now, normally I would cut these different lengths and I would stagger the butt splice connection just so it isn't like super thick right there in the harness, but I don't have enough harness length in here to really get that done the way I want to. So we're just going to have a little extra thick spot right there, but it'll be just fine. Check this out. RWA's repair wiring assembly. Part number RWA 10736. Now these are getting hard to come by for whatever reason, but I have a stockpile of them, luckily, still. If you couldn't get the RWA, you just have to get the terminal, and then you'd have to crimp a new terminal onto the wires. But these work really good, and plus this wire is kind of extra thick, and might still have a harder time chewing through this one, I guarantee it, but I'm not saying they can't. But and we'll crimp this on there. See, I really like these OTC 90-degree crimpers. It's just easier to deal with when you're not 90 degrees to the wire. Like that, and then we'll heat shrink that butt connector down. There. Can't even tell I was in there. Well, it's all fixed up like brand new. Can't even tell I was there. All right. I just heard this ProDrive do the startup checks, and the code's gone. We'll take it. Just make sure the code's cleared, and then I'll get out of here. All right, well, another happy combine. Guess we're headed to the next service call. I think we're going to be going to the X9, see what's going on with it. Hey, that's not an X9. No, it's a brand new S770. So I got rerouted to come here. It was probably an hour and 45 minutes the other direction. So had to drive quite a bit to get here. Customer called in, said that it was throwing a stop code for the LC2, which has a lot to do with your transmission controls. So it was setting a code for the gear select valve number 2 circuit open, and let me show you what I found. So this is a 3-speed push button shift transmission, and when I went to the valve to check the connector on it, this fell off the solenoid valve. It was just barely on there. It's broken. So I don't know how that happened. This combine is literally brand new. It's never even been in the field. So I sent the customer down to our KZ location, which is only about 34 miles away. That was the closest option to get a solenoid valve, so he's on his way there. But there was another issue with the combine that I found that he was complaining about. Let me show you that. So he said it was setting a code for the chopper position, and it was in the windrow position. That just means that it's up. So this little metal piece right here, it's also your stop for the chopper when it goes down. There's a position sensor right here, and there's a little light on it. And I don't have the key on right now, but when I have the key on, I'd wiggle the wire just like right here, and I can make the light go on and off. So he's also going to pick up one of those sensors as well while he's down there. And the valve is replaced. It was kind of a bleeder, but I got it. All right, well, the solenoid valve and the sensor's replaced, and now the combine is happy, happy, happy. So got in my truck, and boss has sent me a picture of the next job, and it's got some carnage. It's an X9 on tracks, and the drive sprocket fell off, broke the bolts, track came off. It's not good, so I'm en route to go look at that. Not really sure what I'm going to be able to show you guys, but I'll see what I can do.